Steph Curry says that he wants to be a warrior for life. So these are his words. The quote is, "I want to win." Let's put it this way. It's a long-winded way of saying that if it is a situation where you're a bottom feeder and it's just because you want to stay there, I'd have a hard time with that. But I don't think that's going to be the reality. I'll continue to make the decisions that are best for me and for my career. At the end of the day, I want to win. So he says he wants to be a warrior for life, but also kind of throwing in that tidbit of he doesn't want to be on a losing team. He has confidence that the Warriors are going to continue to put winning teams around him. He might be a little bit more confident than some, including us too.
Yep.
Because
Absolutely.
so far, as it stands on paper right now, that Warriors team is going to do jack shit this season. There's still some off season left. Lauri Markkanen is still available. There might be a few guys that they. At this point, I was going to say there might be a few other guys, but at this point, I think Lauri Markkanen is the guy that they have to go after. Don't want to, go in circles. Last week we talked about, what the Warriors would have to give up. They should be giving up pods and all that stuff for Lauri, but that's, we talked about that last week. I respect Steph Curry, and I think he's saying the right things here because he clearly does. He wants to be one of those guys like the Duncans, the Kobe's. Who wouldn't, right? You stay with the franchise that drafted you through all the ups and downs, winning multiple championships. You retire the same place that you got drafted by. That is a storybook ending to a Hall of Fame career that players would dream of having. But the reality is the NBA is a fast-moving business, and the NBA is all about, you want as much as you want to stay with the franchise, one franchise your whole career, you got to think about your legacy, and you got to think of where you're going to stay, where you're going to stand when your career is all said and done. Steph Curry has a very good chance. Everyone has their opinion of where Steph Curry is all time. I think he is borderline, right in that top 10 area, just because of how much he's revolutionized the game, his shooting, 4-time champ, unanimous MVP, all this and that, right? But how much higher can you go if he stays in Golden State and continues to not make the playoffs or lose in the first round? I'm not saying it's going to bring him down, but it's not going to bring him up. Now, if Golden State is showing that they're not giving Steph what he needs to win, there's a world. I don't think it's a super small % chance that he goes somewhere else and he focuses on his legacy and trying to win at least another championship and continues to climb the ranks. That's what I think. Do I think that it's more likely that he stays in Golden State and retires with them? Absolutely. But I don't think it's impossible. I don't think it's 100% chance that he stays.
Yeah, nah. If winning is all that matters, I don't think Golden State's going to be the best place to give you that. Now, I do agree with you. Let me start out by saying that I think he does finish his career a Warrior. Hell, I think he should to some degree. I mean,
it would be nice, the star of this generation, of our generation, doing that. You don't see it at all anymore. So
as great as all these players in today's game are, we can't look at them and say that they're going to spend their entire career there. Like Joel Embiid's in Philadelphia. He's now playing with another bona fide star because he's already played with Ben Simmons, James Harden, and now you're getting PG. It's kind of like, if that doesn't work out, are you leaving? Like that question gets into our head, right? Like you don't really know what to expect. So Steph has obviously been there, done that. He's been on bad teams when the Warriors first started out. Got really good, was the face of alongside LeBron in the 2010s, winning championships. Yeah. And we've seen the bad again with what happened after 2019. 2021's an afterthought.
Missed the full season, all this and that,
Gets back, wins the title in 2022. But now I look at the Warriors like, yeah, you're a playing team. Like with that roster as currently constructed, with no Lauri Markkanen on it, we're looking at Steph, Buddy Hield, Kuminga, Draymond. Like that's year 4.
It's a roster.
It's not bad.
It's not terrible, but like we're talking about like, we've seen the bad, right? And I'm not saying the Warriors are bad per se.
They can still be a solid team.
They can still be a solid team, but this isn't 5 years ago where it's like, okay, you have that bad season or two, but you still have all this time left with Steph. And we've talked about Steph. I'm not saying he is declining or anything. I think he's a player that, health considering, he can still be very effective over the next 5 years, 100%.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, too, having these bad years, is a little different than what it was even 5 years ago, because now someone like Steph might be a little bit more impatient. He knows, even though we're saying that, there still is that he is 35, 36 years old. I don't want to be that guy, because it's like I feel like people are saying the same thing about LeBron. And look at him now, leading Team USA in scoring.
Yeah.
But that is, something to consider. It's a lot different than it was a few years ago.
Absolutely. Like I get it 100%. If I'm Steph, and like I said, if I'm really prioritizing winning, I'm leaving. And personally, this is just, maybe just a little educated guess, maybe a little bit of an observation from my part. But seeing how bromancy we're seeing LeBron and Steph kind of go along, if LeBron plays another 3 to 4 seasons, whenever that Golden State contract with Steph runs out, I could see a realistic angle where these two do decide to team up for one twilight year hoorah to try to figure something out. Now, I don't know if that's going to be in Los Angeles. I don't know if that's going to be in Golden State, or hell, like maybe, I don't know, New York. I don't know. I'm just throwing teams out there. But if Steph did have to leave Golden State, he's going to want to go somewhere where he knows the ancillary pieces are going to be, pretty damn good.
And Steph only has 2 years left on his contract, so
I don't know how long LeBron wants to play. I think he really wants to be a factor in getting that team in Vegas, which is why I can't see him playing past like 2027. But playing with Steph Curry?
If Steph leaves, it's after this contract. This year, I think they'll give it a shot. Maybe they make moves, maybe they don't. Then next year comes around, if it's a little bit of the same, and they go into the off season with another losing team, losing record, missing the playoffs or whatever, I think it's going to be a lot closer than we think, the chance of him leaving. Or, like you said, maybe someone else like LeBron comes. I think it's more likely Steph leaves than LeBron joining him. But, again, who knows?
In my head right now, it's 60-40. 60 that he stays, 40% that he leaves. But I have to see what's done. Like, after this offseason is officially over, if they get Laurie, if they get somebody else, I don't know who else is on the radar. But if we roll into the season, it's 50-50 depending on how the season goes in 2024-25.
100%. Next year could be the season of Steph Curry and wondering what his next decision is going to be.
Mike Dunleavy.
All eyes could be on him.
I hope you're ready, buddy. Another closing thought before we dip. I think it's important to remember that there's a lot of stars that never thought they'd be somewhere else. We mentioned this, I think, in last week's pod.
Yeah.
Where a Tony Parker ends up in Charlotte, a Pat Ewing ends up in Orlando or whatever, yeah. But it makes it a little more realistic when a guy that you basically grew up with in Klay Thompson is putting on Dallas blue.
The chances of Steph leaving go up because of that. If somehow Klay stayed, they re-signed him, I think there's a much stronger chance of them staying there 100%. But Klay leaving could be the first domino to fall.